History isn't just in textbooks. It's in the places we live and in the stories that people forget to tell.
Welcome to Folklore and Facts. Grandma's getting to the bottom of it.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jen.
And this season, we're chasing some Revolutionary era stories for America's 250th.
With facts, folklore, and plenty of rabbit trails.
If you like hidden history and good stories, subscribe and come along with us as we get to the bottom of it.
Find a cozy corner and get comfy. The legends are wild and the grandmas are wilder.
Hi, so welcome back. We're here today with Julie Houston, who's going to tell us a little bit about Lewis Chase.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
We're happy to have you here.
I'm thrilled to be back and to tell this story. It needs told and shared. So how I came across Lewis Chase, he kind of found me literally. When I was a little girl, my parents lived in a house on 6th Street in Phillipsburg, in the borough of Phillipsburg. And we lived there, and my dad was fixing the house up. And when he was up in the attic area of this house, near the chimney, he found a box. So this would have been the early 1970s. He found this box of different things, just papers, books, covered in soot and dirt and everything from the chimney. And he knew the box had historic value, and he kept the box. So we moved to Chester Hill when I was 6 or 7 years old, and then when I got married, I moved to Cooper Township, the village of Forest in Morrisdale area. And he gave me this box because I liked antiques, and I had the history bug my whole life. So he said, "Hey, I want you to have this box." He told me where he found it, and he said, "I've been lugging this box around, and I don't want it anymore." So he gave it to me. And at the time, I had 2 little girls, and I was very busy with life, just life.
I'm not busy to dig into stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Right.
I'm sure I probably looked through the box at the time, and nothing really jumped out at me. So the box then went into a shed. And I would say around 2010, I was in the shed, and I had more time on my hands at this time. My girls were pretty much raised, and I pulled the box out, and I started looking through it. I'm like, what is all this stuff? And then I'm like, oh, it's the box my dad gave me. And inside the box, after careful examination, my hands were like black from all the dirt and soot, and the papers and everything were just filthy. One of the things that I uncovered was, and it was folded up, you can kind of see the fold marks here, but it's an enlistment paper for the Civil War. So I was so intrigued by that.
Yeah.
And the closer I looked at it, I noticed it was for the U.S. colored troops, which really just blew me away.
Right.
Yeah, that's not necessarily something you expect to find in Phillipsburg.
No, not common at all.
Right.
So I thought, how did this end up in that house on 6th Street? How in the world did this end there? And my quest began. In that box, there were also several of these little plantation vocalist cards, little concert old cards, some old books, just little hymnals, and they're just Bible, books and religious things. And then there were also old letters and papers.
Yes, absolutely.
It was really, and then unfortunately, there were things that had just disintegrated to nothing too,
Yeah.
So I looked at this, and I looked at these other articles, and the name Lewis Chase was on the enlistment paper and the other letters and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
So from that, I had the name and dates and everything to go on.
Yeah.
And I started researching. which is when I got my Ancestry subscription
mhm.
and did all that. I was
It's kind of the
just,
beginning of the
it
end for
was
the
Yes.
genealogy researcher.
Yes.
yes. Once you go there, there's no
Mhm.
going back.
Right.
That's right.
So I started, researching him, and I found that, some information that he was from Maryland, and he was born in Maryland, died in Phillipsburg.
Okay.
And then I found an obituary for him.
Oh.
And when I found that obituary and learned about his life, to this day, it just strikes me that this man lived this life. He fought for his freedom,
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
his race,
Mhm.
and he lived a very successful, beautiful life in
Wow.
the town of Phillipsburg.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
he was an upstanding, well-respected citizen, and he was known all throughout central Pennsylvania.
Mm.
So
That is so cool. What
Yeah.
a story. What
What
a place.
a
Yes.
little, yeah, a little bit about his story. Well, there's a lot about him.
Mhm.
I could
Yes.
talk and talk and talk.
Right.
But what I discovered is that he was born in 1845 in Clear Spring, Maryland,
Okay.
on a plantation. His mother and father were slaves.
Okay.
And at a very young age, his father was taken to market and sold, and he never saw his father again.
That's so sad. That was
Mhm.
that was the
Absolutely.
reality for so many people.
Right.
That's-
Yeah. His mother, had to let her husband go and never knew where he went.
Wow.
So I don't know who the slave owner was. I know they were on a plantation, but the slave owner did give Lewis's mother, her name was Chloe. He let Lewis live with Chloe. And then it's noted in one of the obituaries that Chloe was granted her freedom in the mid 1850s,
Oh, okay.
but she had to stay at the plantation. So I don't
probably
know.
to keep her family together. Was Lewis the only child, or we don't know that?
We
either?
don't know that for
Okay.
sure. There's been things that I think he may have had some siblings, but there's no
The documentation
Right.
about it.
There was so
Right.
little. Yeah.
very little.
Mm.
But they lived on the plantation.
Okay.
And Lewis was a slave. He
Mhm.
he didn't get his freedom granted or anything.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in 1863, he leaves Maryland with his mother, and they traveled up to Harrisburg, where he enlisted in the 143rd Regiment of the U.S. Colored Troops. And
And I looked that up. Clear Spring, Maryland is just, I think, a little bit west of Hagerstown. It's not very
it's
far
not far.
into Maryland from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably would have been on foot, so it's
Yeah.
further when you're talking about
Right.
walking.
Yeah.
But she went with him. I wonder if that was to help him get through, like passage.
Maybe.
because
I'm
she
not
was
sure
free.
why, but
Yeah.
in one of the when Lewis died, he was so well known that his obituary, that's how I have found so much information, because he was so well known that different, like, Pennsylvania newspapers wrote about his death, and they wrote
Wow.
the information they knew.
Oh, okay.
So that's how that was written in one of the obituaries, that she went to Harrisburg, he enlisted, and he fought in the war.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Wow.
was. Not sure of his service,
Right.
but I think he worked in the medical field for his
Okay.
troop,
Okay.
and he was granted his freedom through the Emancipation Proclamation. And so after the war, he went back to Maryland, back to the plantation, and he married Caroline Barnes, which
Okay.
I think he probably was in love with her when he left.
Right.
So he came back, they got married,
Oh,
they left Maryland,
okay.
and they came into Pennsylvania. So from Maryland, they went to Mount Union, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
in the 1870s. He was listed as a worker at a tannery in Mount Union. He worked in the tannery. And then from the tannery, or from Mount Union Tannery, he went to Johnstown and he worked in a tannery there. And at one of those towns, he was also a butcher for a time.
Which kind of goes hand in hand with a tannery a little bit because,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
Right.
Part of the
same-
process
yeah.
would be similar.
And
Yeah.
and it makes me wonder if that's what he may have been doing at the plantation. You
Oh,
know,
could
maybe he
Maybe he was a
Right.
butcher.
did
yeah, he
something.
did some
I'm
of that.
not
Because
sure.
they needed, every
Absolutely.
vocation, all sorts
Yeah.
Absolutely.
of
Right.
jobs to be done.
So from Johnstown, he ended up in Phillipsburg, and he was working at that tannery.
Okay. Where was the tannery in Phillipsburg? Do you
That
know?
it was downtown. I think it was
Oh.
near like the back end of Front Street, but I'm not 100% sure. But
Okay.
it was down in the
Right in town.
right in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Like not right
Interesting.
in the middle of town, but on the
But
outskirts.
Not far
kind
enough
of.
away for
Yeah.
the smell. And I remember thinking of that,
Yes.
even when we visited Gettysburg, how,
Mhm.
tanneries were right down in the midst of
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah, so he worked there for a while. But I have to say, like after he left, after the war and he gained his freedom, he knew that he needed to get an education as far as reading and writing.
Hmm.
So he learned to read and he learned to write and he learned to read music. He was very musically inclined. It's said that he always had a melodious voice in one of the obituaries.
Mm.
So he learned. He was studious. Once he
Okay.
learned to read, he read a lot, and he self-taught himself really to play the organ.
Oh,
and
boy.
yeah,
So he was
Hmm.
smart as well.
he was
Mhm.
very smart.
Oh,
Yeah, and he was also a very devout Christian. He was very well known in the African Methodist, Episcopal, the AME
Okay.
Mhm.
churches.
Okay.
So he would sing at different church functions and read passages from, the
Maybe these
Bible.
books.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So he was very well known in that realm of the culture, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay.
So at some point, I think it was in the mid 1890s, he was offered a job to sell Bibles and religious books.
Oh.
And he took the opportunity.
Mhm.
He left the tannery and I picture it as a covered wagon, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
That's
with-
how
you'd have to
let's
have
call them
something.
peddlers.
Yes.
Right? That's
Right.
how these people would go, from town
Yeah.
to town selling
Mhm.
door to door.
Exactly.
Church
what
to
that's what I'm
church, even.
picturing.
Yeah.
I mean, that he'd have to, have something like that. So he worked for a company that sold the Bibles and these little
Wow. So these are probably some of the
Oh,
books that he was
religious-
selling.
yes,
His
I'm
samples.
sure.
Mm.
Oh my.
So that's why those were in this box.
Wow.
Mhm.
But
Oh.
at any rate, he would go to different towns.
Okay.
So he was written about in Bellefonte, Tyrone, Cambria County,
Oh,
back to
wow.
Mount Union. So, Blair County,
Mhm.
Clearfield County, obviously.
Yeah.
He'd come
Wow.
into,
So he had quite a big territory.
He
that
did.
He covered.
He did. And he knew, like, when he was coming to town, the word would get out that Lewis, actually, he was known as Professor Chase because he did give music lessons. So he would give singing and like piano lessons
Yeah.
to Phillipsburg folks
Okay.
because he was well known for that.
Mhm.
So anyhow, the word would get out that Professor Chase was coming to town, and it said in one of the write-ups that he visited some of the most elegant homes in central Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So he
Wow.
would be invited to these homes. So he could have been here.
Have been
In the
here
manor,
at Irvin
gosh.
Manor.
I mean,
that
gave you a little bit of
think
chills.
about it.
He absolutely could have been. He could
Yeah.
have walked up on the porch and come in the front door
Right.
that you just came in.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I
Wow.
mean, he would come in. The owners of the home would invite their friends and neighbors
Mhm.
to hear him do a concert.
Oh wow.
So he
Wow.
would sing,
Wow, this.
and he would start out with, like prayer, and it would be an evening of, hymns and music. And he, one of his friends was Elijah Only.
Oh,
That is so cool.
our
'cause-
Elijah
Yes.
from Curvensville,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
of course moved to Phillipsburg.
oh, right,
Yes, they
yeah.
were in the Derrick branch. It was called the Derrick AME Church of Phillipsburg.
Okay. Oh,
And Elijah's wife, I think her name was Elizabeth.
Right,
She's
yeah.
noted in their church history as, like christening
okay.
the.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that is
so
so
they
cool.
were friends.
Of course, Elijah is listed over on our Bucktail Monument here,
Right.
just a few
Yes.
houses down from where
absolutely.
we sit now, as fighting with
I think
the
that
Bucktail
I just think
Regiment.
that that's such an amazing thing because it also kind of collaborates the whole story about these two men who both had amazing lives and ended
Yeah.
up here, and they
And-
both
yeah.
ended up actually in Phillipsburg.
They're
Wow.
buried in the same cemetery.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. So Lewis also would come to Kerwinsville when they would have picnics. It's been noted that
Mhm.
one of the special guests was, or people that came, how they'd write
Mhm.
those
Oh,
little
yeah,
blurbs in the
Yes.
paper.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
so he.
Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Chase of Phillipsburg made the trip to Kerwinsville for the AME picnic,
Oh,
or
wow.
so
That
you,
is so
you know they
cool.
were friends.
Mhm.
So yeah, when he would go around to all these towns peddling the Bibles, he would host these evenings at different houses. He
Wow.
would be there.
Wow.
He would be their special guest. So, which makes sense that when he passed away at the age of 85 years old,
Wow. Yeah.
and he had worked up until about that time, they said that he worked until the latest sickness seized him. So
Wow.
he worked and worked.
right up until the end.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Wow.
But that's why the obituary would go around and around to the different towns.
Oh, okay. Because
So
everybody knew him.
everybody
It was
knew.
worth printing everywhere because
Yeah,
they all knew
he
him
was
and all
so
the different
well known.
towns.
Yes. So he was a member of the John W. Geary branch of the GAR
Oh, that's what this
in
picture
Phillipsburg.
is.
So they
And-
did a reunion. They had a
Yeah.
reunion, and I think this is 1919. And I found this picture when I was researching him at the Phillipsburg Historical Foundation. It's hanging on a wall. And I knew he went because I had read an article of who attended.
Mhm.
And he is the only Black man in the photo, so I know it's him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah, he was just so well known again and respected. But I have to tell you the story about how I found his grave.
Oh. Okay.
So when I started my research, I knew he was buried in the Phillipsburg Cemetery. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that cemetery.
We actually are.
Well, we tromped around there quite a while looking for Elijah only. I don't think we ever found.
right.
Did find some other graves that.
Yes.
Well, I have a lot of family buried over there too.
Yeah.
But we found some other ones that we were looking for. We never did find.
No,
but we probably walked right past
we
Lewis
probably
Chase's
Probably
and
did.
didn't even realize that's what we were
So-
looking at.
You know that there are on Find a Grave over 11,000. It's a huge cemetery.
It
There
is
are
huge.
11,000 documented
Oh.
graves at that
I didn't
cemetery.
realize there were that many.
Yeah.
I guess we walked a lot
We
of
did.
time.
We did a lot of walking
Yeah.
that
It
day.
does not surprise me in one.
So that particular day, my daughter had drama. She was in theater. She had drama practice at the Phillipsburg High School, which is right,
Like over the hill.
Yeah,
sort
right
of,
there.
yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to drop her off at the school, and I know this is going to take me weeks to find this grave because back
It's
then,
huge.
there was no Find a Grave. If there was, I wasn't familiar with it.
Yeah,
But we're in
yeah.
2010, and
Mhm.
I just knew he was buried there. So I dropped her off at the school, and I thought, okay, where do I even start? You know,
Yeah.
I need to find like where he's at, his family plot. And I swear it, I was in my car and I drove and I saw this big
Obelisk?
obelisk, yes,
Okay.
with a big C on it. And I thought,
Oh.
okay, well, I'm going to start here.
Mhm.
This might be the C section of
Mhm.
this cemetery. So I drove right up to that tombstone. Got out of my car, saw the C, looked it down, and it was the Chase plot.
But he led you right to it.
Right to it. It was the
Wow.
very
Wow.
first. I parked right there.
Mm.
He erected a huge monument to his wife. She died before he did. So it's just a beautiful
Wow.
stone, and it has her name, and he's right there next to her. And I just sat on the ground and I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I knew there was just that connection right
Yes.
away.
Well, you had all of this, you know, the letters, the books, and everything from the box.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, even back then, that was the beginning of the story. That was the beginning of
That
him
was
leading you to
The begin.
him.
Yeah. I will never get over how that happened. That
Yeah.
I just pulled in and decided to start there, and there's where he was.
Yeah.
So he's buried with his first wife and
Okay.
his mother, and I'm pretty sure that his second wife is there. She just didn't get a tombstone,
Okay.
but I'm not
That's
for
off
sure.
in the
Yes.
way. Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
but yeah, so he married Caroline Barnes, and she died in I think 1912, and then they had a son, Frank Chase,
Okay.
and Frank
We
We saw
found
that name pop
yes,
up.
we found Frank.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that name
Mhm.
come up. So.
Frank was a barber at
Oh.
the old Phillips Hotel
Oh.
in
neat.
Phillipsburg. So
Neat.
there was the bottom like floor, there was a barber shop,
Yeah.
and that's where Frank worked.
Oh, that is cool.
So anyhow, I Frank's not there with them, but and his mother, her stone is very weathered, but it does say mother, and
Okay. Oh.
so yeah, that was wonderful to find that. But he after Caroline passed away, he married Virginia Champ, and
Okay.
she died 4 days after Lewis died. So it would, and you hear of that
Yes,
a lot.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. So that was his second wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the story. And
Have you ever been able to find them or even Frank in a census to see like,
Yes.
how it ended up on 6th Street? Like, did one of them live there?
So, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Oh.
So
You get
Yes.
What-
chills.
Yes.
That's-
so where there was a school, the 6th Street Junior High School.
Okay.
And now there's part of the school, they demolished some of it. But when that school was built, Lewis lived in a house on that lot,
Okay.
and they moved the house down the road
Oh. Okay.
on 6th Street, and they must have moved several houses down the road to
Okay.
get
Makes
this.
room for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we think he must have just put it up there, and he lived in this house for a while, and then he moved out to 8th Street when his first wife died.
Okay. And that box got left
That
behind
box
somehow.
just stayed
Wow.
there. Yes. And my dad actually went to school with Lewis Chase's granddaughter
Oh.
until just when they were little girl, or when they were
Yeah.
little kids.
Okay.
And I've tried to find her.
Oh.
Yeah, I've tried to
Yeah.
find her.
Oh, that would be neat. It would be really cool if any
Yeah.
of his descendants see this and
Yeah.
see you, and
Yeah.
you can get in touch with Julie through us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I've tried, and but it was really, I guess, maybe in the 2013, I was approached by some ladies at the Bellefonte, the State College Historical Society, or through
Okay.
Bellefonte, and they were doing a celebration. I think it was I'm not sure what year it was, the 145th anniversary of the Civil War or something
Okay,
to that
yeah.
effect. And they invited me to be a representative for Lewis Chase and the U.S. Colored. It had something to do with the U.S.
Yes.
Colored troops.
Oh,
So
how cool.
it was so. I can't even. I was so honored to sit at this ceremony.
Oh.
They had a man that was impersonating Frederick Douglass, and they talked about the freedom and how these men, what they went through,
Yeah.
not just during the war, but we all know I mean, we've heard about the struggles, and
Right. Yeah.
so I just felt that day, I felt that I am somehow very connected to this man, and it's just one of those things that I always feel that when I die and go to heaven, I know he's up there, and I look forward to meeting him, because I mean, he was a devout, religious Christian man that lived his life as an example. And during that era,
the possibilities,
right,
and
that era in time, to have that respectability in any town, in Phillipsburg, it's just
be able to live that kind of a life,
Right.
no matter how you start out.
Right.
right.
He had a lot against him, and then fought for freedom for him and for his race.
Yes.
And to come out and live the kind of life he did afterward.
Well, and as we're saying, at that time period, to be that person, that you have such a good reputation for being such a good person, a good Christian person, that you're just so loved and respected. I really think says a lot. I mean, and the same thing was true actually about Elijah Only.
Right.
So it's just interesting that those two gentlemen, were in this area and both lived these amazing lives.
Yeah.
But what a full circle moment,
Oh.
when you were actually asked to go there to represent.
Oh, it was amazing. The night I got the call, I remember my daughter was a cheerleader for West Branch, and we had a football game that night. And this lady called me from Bellefonte, and I couldn't believe it. She said, "Are you related to Lewis Chase?" She found me on Ancestry.
Oh,
And
okay.
she said, "Are you a descendant? We're looking for." And I was late to the football game. I got there and was so excited, and this was just like, I'm telling my husband, like, and sometimes they just don't get it.
Right.
Yeah,
They're
there are
not
some
history
people that don't
lovers,
get it.
right?
Yeah, they just learn to
Right.
live with the rest of us. who
Right,
get it.
absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, he went with me to the ceremony. My father went because my father found the box.
Right.
And,
right.
So yeah, he's just been part of our life, my life, really my whole life. But I feel very extremely connected, and to get his story out, and I want people to realize that this man, like in one of the obituaries, it said that he never held bitterness in his heart for basically the hand he was dealt when he was born.
Wow.
And
that speaks a lot of his mother and the way he was
Absolutely
raised as
too.
well.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think of that a lot. She traveled with him to Harrisburg. He came back and got her. She lived the rest of her life with him. She's buried right next to him.
Yeah.
Beloved mother,
Absolutely.
Right. Oh.
I think that just says a lot, like you said, about the type of mother that she would have been, and that she stayed with him and, she raised this amazing son.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
also, I think that this is another example of, your dad finds this box, this dirty box in the attic, and he doesn't throw it away. He keeps it
Mm-hmm.
and eventually gives it to you, who he knows that you're going to do something with it.
Yeah.
And I
So
feel like that box was left behind, maybe on accident, maybe not before, but left behind for you.
Yeah.
Like it was
absolutely.
there.
It was
part
meant
of
to
the
be.
plan.
It was meant to
Yeah.
be.
So this story could be told. Otherwise, it may not have been told.
No, I think it would have been lost. When the story came out, I was interviewed by Carrie Webster, who was working at the Phillipsburg Journal at the time. And it was around Memorial Day, and we went to the, somebody told him of what was going on with
Okay.
how I found the grave. And
Yeah.
we went to the cemetery, and he did an interview and with me, and the veterans weren't even really aware of this story.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
so we connected things with the Phillipsburg Historical Foundation and this photo.
Yeah.
And then my
from
dear
the
fellow historian Chris Watson shared with me his account that was at the Historical Foundation, and he wrote about, I guess the GAR, you would write about what you went through in the war.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote about where he visited and different things that he did. And, one of the things he wrote about was that he was on a ship that wrecked,
Oh,
and he was thrown off the ship into the sea
oh boy.
with 25 bales of cotton. And yeah, so there's interesting little stories that he wrote about
Oh, wow.
in this GAR book.
Oh, wow.
So
and he was an American patriot.
he
And,
was.
and
Another
people don't
patriot.
know about him, but that
He was.
is
Yeah.
kind of your calling in life, is to let people
Yes.
know his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's very inspirational.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially pertinent, being this is February, Black History Month.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a great time to be able to tell his story.
Wonderful
Absolutely.
time. And I've always felt that this is like what movies are made of. His story,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
from rags to riches, not literally and figuratively. I mean,
Right.
he did so much in his life. It could be a movie.
Ken Burns, if you're listening.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the kind of,
Mhm.
this is the kind of story, yeah, that
Absolutely.
needs to be told like
needs
that.
told and shared, and
Yeah.
contributions he made.
Right.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for coming back and sharing this
Thank you,
story with
Yes, I'm
ladies.
us.
so glad you're here.
Thank you
Yes.
for having me. It was a joy to share this story. I have been wanting to.
Good.
For a while,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, so glad to have
And
you
we have a
here.
couple more that Julie is going to come back and share with us. So we
Yeah.
look forward to having
be
her
back.
back again.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, Julie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. So that's it for this week's episode of Folklore and Facts, Grandma's Getting to the Bottom of It. We're Jennifer and AJ, two history-loving grandmas just sharing what we find.
We are independent. We are not speaking for any of the organizations that we're affiliated with, and we are always learning.
So if we missed something, please just tell us nicely.
And if you've got a story idea or you want to be a guest on the show, just let us know in the comment section.
And if you want more stories like this, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.